So how has that been being married to a Korean person? He's Korean, right?
Yes.
Like
Like
fully
he
Korean.
was born in Korea, lived in Korea for most of his life until like late middle school. He was sent to Canada to do like 6 months of like,
Oh.
I guess, English something.
Yeah.
And then he did high school in the US and then 1 year of college and then he came back to do his military service, etc.
Oh, okay. So he's not like fully
So like he's
Yeah.
Korean, but like I don't think I could marry a Korean because I think the culture differences are just a bit
Yeah,
large.
we've talked about that on the show, and I've always said I would never date a Korean.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's not a it's a taste, like, you know, and it's just
Yeah.
it's not mine. And so I think like TJ, he's very open-minded and like in the sense that like he can see past Korean perspective. And I think that's like when you're here, like your culture can get erased so quickly. Like you're in Korea and you need to adapt, you need to learn the language, you need to blah 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 blah, and you can just feel very unseen. And especially like in a marriage where you've given up like access to your family, access to like, you know, be able to go and see these big events for the people that you've lived your whole life with. Like if your partner does not make you feel like appreciated for doing that and make you feel seen, like as you exist in this fishbowl of not you, and it's just it takes the right person to really decide to attach to that.
Yeah.
Like I could not marry and spend the rest of my life with somebody who didn't like respect like who I was in addition to being his wife.
Yeah.
And so I think like he's definitely one of a kind. He's very open, he's very understanding. We've had many things to overcome culturally
Of course.
anyways.
Yeah.
But I'm so grateful that like he has always taken the time with me to do that, and that's huge, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's hard in Korea to meet someone who is open to understanding your culture too. Because the people that I've no, I don't want to say all of them, but some people that I've gone on dates with, I've gone on dates with them and then been Korean guys, and then it feels like they want you to learn about their culture, but they're not open to learn about your culture,
Right.
and you're just kind of like, but wait. This relationship is a two-way street. It's not a
Exactly.
one-way street. Just because I'm in your country doesn't mean I have to only learn about your country,
Exactly.
right? So that kind of bothered me a lot, and I think that's something that has really turned me off to dating in Korea, especially dating Korean men. It's like a very big turn off because
Right.
I'm very like I celebrate being Kenyan and also being American. Like it's something
Exactly.
that's always gonna be with me. But to have someone who's always like, oh, you should, learn more Korean. Oh, you should be like this with my parents. But it's like, but how are you going to be with my parents?
Exactly.
Can we talk about you integrating with my family
Right.
too? Like, why is it just your family, your family, your family,
Yeah.
So I think that's something that has been like a very thing about dating here. But it seems like you've overcome that because you found someone who's willing to
Yeah.
play both parts,
Yeah, definitely. And then like even with the family bit, because like you've seen the all over the place. Like the first thing that people said when they saw my relationship, like, did his family accept you? Did his family accept you? And they were wonderful. They're like the best parent-in-laws ever.
Yeah.
They're like the first thing, like when they found out he was dating me, they're like, bring her over, let her know we're very like open and
Yeah,
welcoming
yeah.
and whatever. And then even TJ's mom said like, oh, I was a Korean teacher for foreigners, and I think that was like God's way to prepare me to have you as a daughter-in-law. And so I was just like, I lucked out like in the whole family. And
Oh my
I was so
God.
appreciative of that. And
Yeah.
it's just like the fact that they always tried to make me know that like you can tell us no, like if this is too much for you, if you're like not feeling open to this, don't force yourself to like do everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they respected that I am American. I
Yeah.
am not Korean. I'm in Korea. I'm trying my best
Yeah.
learning Korean. But at the end of the day, I'm not. And like
You're not Korean, yeah.
I cannot fully adapt to that, and I don't want to erase myself for my relationship either. And
Yeah.
they haven't made me feel the need to.
That is something that I've always thought about. Like the most successful relationship that I've had in Korea was my ex-boyfriend's mom was very open to Western culture.
Okay.
Like she was very like, oh Paris, can you eat this? Oh Paris, are you okay with this? Like she would always ask me if I'm comfortable with doing things before just expecting me to be okay with doing
Right,
them.
right.
Because like I know Korean. Because some people are like, oh, because you know Korean culture, you have to be okay with everything, you know?
Like, that's not how that works.
Excuse me. But she was more like a, let me ask for your consent before I make you do this thing.
Right, right.
And I've noticed that, mother-in-laws or like father-in-laws who are open to Western culture are my cup of tea personally.
Right.
Like they're like, if they're not open to it, if they're the type of Korean parents-in-law to be like, oh, it's Chuseok, why are you not coming to make kimchi? I can't, because ma'am, that's not my culture.
Like, and that's the thing. It's
not.
like people don't realize how big that is. Like I'm
Yeah.
missing Thanksgiving every single year with my family. I'm missing Christmas. I'm missing 4th of July barbecues, etc. And to like just force somebody into this,
Yeah.
like it just seems so messed up to me.
It is.
Like, and especially
is.
because even the culture is hard on Koreans, like the whole like daughter-in-law doing all the work stuff, whatever, like Jesa, all these things.
Yeah.
Like it's stuff that people within your own culture struggle with, and then you
Yeah.
expect somebody who's lived their whole life one way to just accept it. And so like you have to have that balance of understanding. Like I want to learn, I want to respect your holidays, but I want you to know that like this is a hard thing for me to keep missing
Yeah.
year after year after year.
Yeah.
Like especially like American Thanksgiving really hits hard because it's a Thursday. It's like a week where you'd be like cruising into Christmas feeling, whatever. But obviously American Thanksgiving is not celebrated in Korea.
It's not,
So
yeah.
you're going to work. You don't even have time to spend the day pretending it's the holiday
Exactly.
because it's just a Thursday.
They're literally like, it's just a Thursday,
It's
calm down.
literally a Thursday.
Yeah.
And so that kind of stuff hits so hard every year when you're just like, I'm missing every single like major event I've celebrated my whole life repeatedly. And then like you're just forced into these very big periods where it's like you don't really have the same sense of homecoming. Like
Yeah.
it's nice to have Chuseok off, but like does it really mean anything to me that I'm there? Solar, like what is that for me?
Honestly, does not mean anything to
Right.
me.
It's
Yeah.
just a very inconvenient time to be in the city because everything shuts down.
Like, because everybody's gone.
Exactly.
Nobody's here. Like, as a foreigner, you just kind of like, oh, wow, everybody's gone.
traffic.
Yeah. Yeah. That's when you realize, oh, I'm definitely a foreigner.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like when you're like, ooh, yeah. This is not for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you met TJ and you were like so in love with him and you're like, okay, I'll meet your parents, right? If his parents were not open to like your culture, would that have changed anything for you?
I think like it's so hard to imagine because it's like what would that have felt like? I don't
Because you've
know.
already experienced
I'm
that. They are,
spoiled.
they are very accepting.
Yeah.
But I always wonder, like,
Because I think I asked TJ something similar. It's like, what if your parents didn't accept me? And he said that he wouldn't force me to like interact with them. Like he wouldn't make me like, well, they're my parents. You have to do X, Y, and Z anyway. But then I also like, when he said it, I was like, okay, that's one way to go about it. But then
Yeah.
I'm like, well, how would I feel? Like, I feel like whenever you want to spend time with me, you have to choose between me and your parents.
family, yeah.
And I think even in the long term, it would have become an issue, like to work that way because I don't want to have to be a choice and I don't want to make him make a choice that could make him resent me later.
Yeah.
And then also like say when we have kids or whatever, like how is that going to affect the relationship? Will they suddenly like me because I've birthed their grandchild? Like it would just continue to like
bro.
brew inside of me as like an uncomfortable position. So
Yeah.
I don't think that could have led to marriage if that was the case.
Yeah.
And then if they full out didn't like me and I'm just like, why? Like